Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Keyshawn Davis of Norfolk, Virginia, all 25 years of him. He is the new WBO lightweight champion. He knocks out Denys Berinchyk, who was making the first defense of his belt. He knocks him out in 4 rounds. And this was, I'm almost tempted to say, a strange fight because the styles were so incredibly contrasting. And Berincyk's style is so unorthodox and so irritating. He sort of buzzes around the ring like a fly that you need to swat. Well, my God, did Davis swat him? Not half. And Davis, weirdly, Davis didn't seem to land that many punches throughout the whole fight because he wasn't throwing that many. But when he did throw, he was landing, if you know what I mean. I mean, his accuracy was good. He just wasn't throwing that many punches. But when he did throw, he landed, and he landed with a great deal of success. It was a case of Berinchyk coming out and constantly switch hitting, moving, bouncing, herky-jerky movements, skirting around the ring, Davis walking after him. Davis looked like the much bigger man. Hunting him down, hunting. Of course, it's 12 rounds, 12-3, so you've got a lot of time to get your work done. But the first 2 rounds, all you could do was you could think, well, Davis is walking after him, landing the odd punch here and there. Berinchyk is zipping around, looking like a ball of energy, but barely landing anything. What's going to happen? At some point, Berinchyk is going to have to start either doing these bombing raids where he moves in and lands salvos and then gets out quick, which is difficult against a guy whose hands are quicker, which Davis's certainly were, or Davis is going to have to start, the moment he gets in range, firing 2s and 3s in order to slow down Berinchyk. Because Berinchyk, if you think back to his title-winning effort, which was against Emmanuel Navarrete back in May of last year, he won a split decision and finally won a world title. He's 36 years old, Berinchyk, and yet he's only had, this was his 20th fight. And of his 19 wins, he'd only had 9 KOs. But he's so odd that he can take on someone like Navarrete, who himself has a very unusual, unorthodox style, and sort of beat him at his own game. Now, Davis is the polar opposite. Davis is an orthodox fighter, kind of upright, very fast hands, moves his feet quickly as well. But he's very much a sort of conventional sort of fighter. Nothing wrong with that. I don't mean that disparagingly. And he'll keep moving up. He'll keep moving towards you. And the moment that he's in range, he'll land maybe a 1-2. It was so difficult for him to get into range, or so it seemed, in the first 2 rounds. But then in the 3rd round, he started to get closer. And this was combined by Berinchyk deciding, okay, I've got to win this fight. I'm the champion. I'll move in and I'll let my hands go. And one of Berincyk's mistakes is that he was moving in as a southpaw, which exposed, the right-hand side of his body and his liver. And in the 3rd round, Davis, as Berinchyk moved in, Davis landed a left hook to the liver, which it was a weird knockdown. Everything about this fight was kind of weird. And Berinchyk sort of fell down. His sort of back legs seemed to sort of unhinge. And then he fell forward onto all 4s. Now, he didn't seem, even though the body punch definitely landed, he didn't seem to have the same sort of reaction that you normally see from body punches at floor fighters. Normally, they're sort of either rolling around on the floor, desperately trying to beat the count, or they're grimacing, or, the body punches are the ones you can't shake off. Headshots, a lot of the time you can shake them off, but body punches, not so much. But Berinchyk got up and he looked fine. He got up quite quickly. He looked fine. He just took the count. And normal service was resumed, with him buzzing around and Davis, moving forward rather ominously. But now that he got the knockdown, he was beginning to find his gears and beginning to, I think, time Berincyk's strange sort of staccato style. In the fourth round, it was more of the same in the sense that Davis again moving forward, looking like he was going to land something big, getting closer to the timing. But again, Berinchyk made exactly the same mistake in the fourth round that he made in the third round. He moved straight in as a southpaw. Davis was coming forward, but Berinchyk thought, I'll do a quick bombing raid. Moved in to try and exchange in a southpaw stance. A left hook to the liver, came in, landed perfectly, and down goes Berinchyk. And this time he was hurt, he was grimacing, and you could tell he wasn't going to beat the count. And he didn't. He was counted out in the fourth round. Prior to that, again, it was a sort of, the writing was on the wall because throughout the fourth round, I think it was about 145, 150 into the round when the knockout occurred. But Berincyk's face, his nose was bleeding heavily, and he had blood in his mouth coming out of his nose. And it was a case of he's not having any success. It doesn't matter what stance he's in. It doesn't matter whether he tries to zip around the ring and draw Davis onto him. It doesn't matter if he falls in and lands with both hands. He's not having any success at all. And from, despite the knockdown in the third round, which almost looked like a flash knockdown. I mean, it must have hurt Berinchyk, but he hid the pain well. He certainly didn't with the last knockdown. But nevertheless, you thought, well, this is a strange one. This is, it just looked like Davis was, even if this had continued, Davis would have just been in total control. But fortunately for Berinchyk as well, Davis found the body punch that put him over and out. I say fortunate for Berinchyk because this had the makings of like a one-sided beatdown that really would have put some serious punishment on Berinchyk. And I don't know, maybe it's in light of the recent death in Scotland of the young man fighting for the Celtic belt. But this was whenever something like that happens, you always think, better to stop the fight too soon than too late. As a matter of fact, we didn't have to have that scenario. It was a case of Davis was able to get him out of there. But Berinchyk has that style. I mean, if you can time him, hurling himself forward, if you've got faster hands than he has, all that switch hitting, all that buzzing around, all that, broken rhythm, it doesn't really count for a great deal if you've got the timing and the speed. And those are two things that Davis definitely had. Very impressed with Davis. Bear in mind, he was coming off a very good win over Gustavo Lemos, who came in 2 or 3 pounds overweight, wasn't he? And Lemos was at a 29-1 record and was meant to be giving Keyshawn Davis all sorts of problems. In actual fact, he got floored 3 times in the second round and stopped. And I think prior to that, Miguel Madueno gave Davis a tough fight, which turns out, it's a 10-round unanimous decision for Davis. But the kid's only had 13 fights, but he's done a few rounds as well as had these early knockouts. I believe this was his first scheduled 12-rounder. But of course, if you're going to get people out of there every 5 minutes, within a few rounds, you don't have to worry about going the distance, do you? But he looks like he might have the engine as well, having done a couple of 10-rounders, won a few decisions over 10. I don't think he'll have an issue with doing the 12 at a reasonable pace. And of course, he's only 25, so he might not even be in his prime yet. But anyway, Keyshawn Davis becomes the WBO lightweight champ. 13 wins, 9 KOs, no draws, no defeats. So congratulations to him. As for Denys Berinchyk at 36, I wonder if he'll call it a day. This was a bad defeat. And he just wasn't at the races. He didn't really do anything. He wasn't able to do anything. So disappointment for Ukraine on this one. But then they can't all be Alexander Usyk, can they? Anyway, if you saw the fight, let me know what you think. And yeah, leave your comments below. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the like button, of course. And yeah, I'm going to go to bed now because it's about nearly 5 o'clock in the morning over here. If you watch these ones from America, these fight cards from America, let's just say you need a few Red Bulls, put it that way. Thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.